Well, it is done and dusted. Series won by India in Pune. The fourth game itself, India sealed the series 3-1, winning this fourth T20 international by 15 runs. Geez, and what a T20 game it's been. It has been a proper roller coaster. You know, a T20 game is good when both parties are interested. Both seem likely winners right up till the very end. And that's what it seemed like. Well, not right up till the very end, perhaps till the last over. But yeah, they were both teams super interested right up till the dying moments. And that's what a good T20I game is. India put into bat by Jos Buttler, got to 181 on the back of a very good partnership between Hardik Pandya and Shivam Dube. 87-run partnership that came in super quick time. Rinku Singh batted well to consolidate after India lost early wickets in the power play. We were 12 for 3. Get to 181 was pretty good on a Pune pitch, which was good for batting. But England, well, they floundered. They did. They had the match in their grip for a large part of their batting. But then the Indian bowlers came back into the game. The spinners, especially Ravi Bishnoi, picking up 3 wickets. Varun Chakravarti getting 2. And the concussion sub, who I feel will be a bit of a talking point, Harshit Rana, picking up 3 wickets. About that and more on Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Zaheer Khan and Michael Vaughan. First up, geez, that's a proper T20 game, right?
Yeah, it was a very well-fought game, especially after the start which England batters got in that power play. 62 runs, just losing 1 wicket, that too of the last ball of the power play. So pretty much they were breezing through that run chase. Losing wickets, giving opportunity for Indian bowlers to come back to defend this total. And them in the back 10 were just superb. Harshit Rana also bowling very well. Bishnoi was pick up the bowler, I felt. He started the wicket-taking inroads. And on the whole, it was a very well-fought game by both the sides.
Michael, your reactions on the game itself?
Yeah, it was. It had plenty of ebbs and flows. It had some quality cricket. It had some not so good cricket. I have to say that the substitute, how they found that Harshit Rana is a like for like for Shivam Dube, an out and out bowler to replace a batter that bowls some part time stuff, is beyond me. He gets 3 for 33. Got the key wicket at the key times. They didn't play the leg spinners well enough. They got 5 for 56. That's an area that England have to get better at. But I do think the rules, and England would have done the same, by the way. They had the chance to replace a player for the same kind of player that India did in the end. But you can't tell me that Harshit Rana is a like-for-like replacement for Shivam Dube.
I'm going to read out the law for people. As I said, the elephant in the room is going to be the concussion sub. We're going to talk about that. And we've gone into it right up front because it will be a talking point a lot on social media and everywhere. But let me read the law out for you. Cricket has laws, not rules. It says that in assessing whether the nominated concussion player should be considered a like-for-like player, the ICC match referee should consider the likely role the concussed player would have played during the remainder of the match and the normal role that would be performed by the nominated concussion replacement. So which brings me to the direct question, Zaheer Khan, would Shivam Dube had bowled 4 overs in this innings had he not gone off?
No, let's just decode the law first, isn't it? You got to decode that law as you read it. So the team is within their right to nominate a player.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've nominated Harshit Rana, knowing that what kind of advantages they have from Harshit Rana, who can bat a bit. But when you're looking at it, it's not a like-to-like replacement. There is no doubt about that. Maybe Ramandeep would have been that ideal choice. And it was match referee's role then to say, okay, you've nominated this player, but this player doesn't suit the criteria exactly.
Just the line.
And hence, you have to now suggest another player, or I suggest this is the player is a likely replacement, which is a batsman who can bowl rather than bowler who can bat.
Great point, because the line there is, Michael, the match referee should consider the likely role, the concussed player, so Shivam Dube, consider the likely role Shivam Dube would have played during the remainder of the match being India's bowling. The likely role he would have played would not have been 4 overs, is what
Can I ask who the match referee is? I mean, I should know this. Who is the match referee?
It's Javagal Srinath.
Right, okay. So he's decided that Shivam Dube clearly would have bowled 4 overs in the second innings. I can guarantee you, if Shivam Dube had bowled 4 overs, England would have chased that target down.
Yeah, true. Well, fair point. Fair point, yes, because there's not a lot of games that Shivam Dube has played where he's bowled 4 overs. But that said, Harshit Rana comes in as a concussion. At the end of the day, as Zach is saying, India puts a name forward. If the match referee says it's okay, he plays. You're playing the conditions, you're playing the situation, and that's what the situation was. And Harshit Rana comes on debut, picks up a wicket second ball. So his fairy tale is bizarre. Put yourself in his shoes. He's sitting just chilling, got his feet up, suddenly gets thrown in at halftime, saying this is your debut, gets a wicket second ball.
But this is a very interesting way to make your debut, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. You don't get the cap. You don't even know half the game has been played.
Yeah.
And then you're making your debut halfway through the game. This is definitely going to be Joyda's question.
It will.
Somewhere down the line. A joy factor.
It's a joy factor question for sure. He made his debut, but I mean, he made it without any ceremony. But Michael, he's made an impact.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you take away the controversy of the substitution. He bowled great. You know, he came in and hustled. He varied his pace, 3 for 33 on his debut. You look at that 11 dots. So he built pressure. You're always going to get hit for boundaries, and you're going to go for runs. But 3 wickets at that time was absolutely crucial. That partnership was going along really nicely for England. Harry Brook was playing great. You know, you're kind of watching it and thinking, well, they're going to stroll to this victory, and then suddenly they start to lose wickets. And England will be disappointed with the way that they played the leg spinners. Again, you move away from the controversy, and that shouldn't happen. I think England would have won the game if Shivam Dube had to bowl at least 1 or 2 overs. He probably wouldn't have bowled at all. That's probably the kind of situation that India would have gone for in the second innings. But 5 for 56, the leg spinners. You know, that for me is an area that England, if they're going to go and win the T20 World Cup in a short while in India and Sri Lanka, they have to get better at playing the leg spinners.
Valid point. And today it was actually Ravi Bishnoi who was the leader, and Varun Chakravarti who had to play a supporting role. Well, I say supporting role because if Varun gets 2 wickets, that's a supporting role for him, right? That's an off day for Varun when he gets only 2 wickets. But how good was Ravi Bishnoi today?
Bishnoi was very good. And like I was mentioning, you know, if you bring him early in the game, you've seen always having something more to offer. And we were discussing the fact that, you know, Varun Chakravarti have been among the wickets. So that kind of at times put you under pressure. Today was a different kind of a day. Yeah. So England was really looking good with the new ball. And they were putting bowlers under pressure. They were taking more risk. And once you get that first wicket so early in your spell, then it just gives you that much bit of more confidence to get in the game. And that's what we've seen with Bishnoi today.
You know, Michael, I'm as much of a fan of Adil Rashid as you are. Like, you keep talking about his prowess with the ball. I also think that with the bat, I mean, he's experienced cricketer, very clever cricketer. I got a little confused where in the end, in that 19th over, when, yes, there was Jamie Overton batting on the other side, hitting the big shots. But Adil Rashid had hit a 6 at the last ball of the 18th over. And he himself, from the non-strikers end, has sent Overton back twice for a single. I mean, I know in commentary they didn't pick it up. They thought Overton was not taking the single. But it was Adil Rashid who put his hand up and said, no, you bat, which I found a little sort of strange coming from an experienced cricket brain like him.
Yeah, and if you actually study Rashid's batting throughout the whole series, you could argue that he's batted better than Jamie Overton.
Fair point.
He played quite nicely, and he's struck the ball. He's skillful. He's got really kind of skillful wrist to manoeuvre the ball into some funny areas where the captain generally doesn't have fielders. So, yeah, these are little things that England will look back on. I do feel that they've been given a bad hand tonight. I mean, it's not often that you hear me give too many excuses for a loss, but I do think the substitute and that play in the game was a big moment in there. And it's a shame because I think it'd have been 2-2 going to the final game in Mumbai. But I'll keep saying that England have got better. I do think they have got better. I think the bowling is getting better and better. They'll be disappointing from 79 for 5 for India to get 181. That'll be something that they'll look at. and the way that they're playing spins still, I think most teams around the world, if you're playing England in T20 cricket, you're going to take pace off the ball and try and get bowlers that can just spin it slightly either way, and that's where you can get them.
Yeah, I think just a few misses towards the end. The fact that Archer came into bat before Adil Rashid, who, as Michael is saying, has batted so well in this series and is better against the spinners than a Jofra Archer would be. So I think just those few things, and it's small margins, isn't it, Michael? It always comes down to these small margins, these little tactical miscalculations.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a few things, small margins. Jacob Bethel's not shown anything near what his potential is in this series. He's obviously missed games, but in the couple of innings that he's played, he's really struggled to get going. Liam Livingstone, played well in the last game, but 9 from 13, he didn't quite go, and that was a big moment. Harshit Rana did for him, caught behind. But you're right, Adil Rashid on that kind of wicket, when the rate was never ridiculous. It was never getting to 15s and 16s where you need 6 hitters. You needed skillful players who could maneuver the ball into the gaps. And Adil Rashid, I've always said Adil Rashid is one of those players that every now and again I'd push him up even higher in the order.
Yep.
On these low spinning wickets. I think he's so skillful and he's dangerous, and he's been doing it for so long now that he has the skill set and he's got the awareness and the experience to knock pretty much all bowlers around into the gaps. And England may look at that and think that Adil can be used, particularly on these kind of wickets, a little bit differently at times.
I have to say, though, that the ebbs and flows of this game, takes me back to, about 15 minutes past 7 earlier today in the evening when India was 12 for 3. And at that point, I don't think anybody was backing India to get to 181. And that happened because of some good partnerships and also because of our performer of the day. This is our Kia Ceros performer of the day, Kia movement that inspires. And today, there's been a lot of movement from Hardik Pandya, and that's certainly always inspiring because not only does he hit those sixes, and he hit 4 of them, but I like his movement after the 6 as well, right? Just the reaction to that 6.
Is not looking at the ball.
Yeah, love it. It's box office. Absolutely love it. But taking that away, I think also we must factor in the disappointment he must have had for not shepherding the chase in the last game, managed to shake that off and play a really dominating knock today.
Well, he looked in control through and through his innings. That's been the highlight. Looked very comfortable, very confident. Knew that he will be able to hit sixes whenever he wants. That kind of approach, and that's something which was very evident in that partnership. He was the one who was, even though Shivam Dube started that charge, he took over from Shivam and really controlled and being that aggressor in that partnership.
I can see, the car next to you is looking pretty nice, pretty distracting, Zach. But Michael, the thing about Hardik is he's a really stylish player, right? We know he's a really stylish player. Yeah. But today, some of those shots were really a bold statement to those who kind of criticize the slowness of his innings in the third game.
Yeah, and also smart. He was, very clever in the way that he played. And you always know with Hardik, he's always stylish because of the way that he looks, the way that he doesn't look at his sixes, hits too many, so he gets bored of the ball travelling to the stand. He don't want to watch it too often. But to see him back playing and in a stylish way, in a very composed, mature fashion, he gets that bit between his teeth when he's out in the middle. You can see he's a real competitor with the ball in hand. And obviously with the bat in hand tonight, he was the reason really that they got to that 181. With Shivam Dube, that partnership was terrific. England didn't have too many answers when they started to strike it. Never a dull moment when Hardik's playing cricket. It's either you're absolutely sitting back with in awe of his stylishness and his boldness and the way that he plays the game, or every now and again he makes a few mistakes. But when he plays like he does tonight, he's a joy to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Really calm and composed. So he was our Kia Ceros performer of the day, Kia movement that inspires. All right, we are talking about the fact that India has won this series 4-1. Has won this series 3-1. Or maybe I'm seeing into the future and talking about my prediction, which was 4-1. Michael?
Yeah, but I'm nullifying my prediction because of the substitute today. So I still see it as a 2-2 with one to play.
Can I tell you though, for this entire series, that excuse of yours will still come in a second and a distant second, because we know what the first best excuse of this series is.
The smog.
The smog. The smog series. Well, I just want to tell you that obviously they're coming to Mumbai in 2 days' time. They're going to get out of the stadium, drive up the expressway, and be here in about an hour and 45 minutes. But the AQI in Mumbai today is definitely lower, right? There was a clear sunset. We can actually see things around. We can see buildings across the bay and all. So it's good. So we saw Harry today. Well, they were playing out in the hills. They were playing out in the wilderness. You saw his 50. So if it stays clear for another 2 days, you may see a big one again from Harry Brook then. But yeah, it has been a super exciting game. We'll just have a look at the rest of the India bowlers, because another thing that has happened today, Zach, is that I would have liked to see Hardik bowl more as well. But because Harshit came and you got the entire quota from him, that also allowed Surya to then, not give the duties of, which was going to be your second pacer to Hardik.
Yeah, the back end job was pretty much taken care. So there was no need. It's just that the beginning, Ben Duckett did put bowlers under pressure. Phil Salt also looked good today in the power play. So clearly that was the calculation from Surya. Varun Chakravarti, bringing in Varun Chakravarti early, then Bishnoi chipping in with wicket. Aksar bowling very well, getting Salt out as well in that middle phase. So that really set the tone in that middle phase, where they scored, I think, 24 runs, lost a couple of wickets in that passage of play from 7 to 10. And that was, there was the foundation laid to build on. Even though Harry Brook played a blinder of innings afterwards, there was still enough for them to put the squeeze on.
There was another moment, and I want to get Michael's opinion on it. You fielded, in the slips a lot, and you have a vantage point of that. That Sanju Samson catch, him running back, Varun Chakravarti coming in from the 30-yard circle. Whose catch do you think that was?
Oh, I'm a big believer that if a wicketkeeper thinks he can get it, he goes. He's got the gloves on. He called it. He got himself in a bit of it. He went too far, and then he got himself in an awkward position. He probably had the peripheral vision of Chakravarti just to his left as well, which probably put him off. And then the ball kind of came back onto himself, and he should have taken it. He's got the gloves on. I mean, it's not easy when the ball goes high into a dark sky at night, and there's probably a little bit of movement through that ball coming down from the sky. But yeah, I always believe if the keeper can go for it with those gloves on, he has to go for it.
And then does the other player then just need to ensure that they stay back or call out? Like, what does the other player need to do then?
But I think he can't have called too early, because Chakravarti, he's kind of going, do I, don't I? And I think that's where there was a little bit of confusion. If the keeper calls early, you just get out of the way. So clearly there wasn't an early call, and there was a little bit of trepidation of who was going to go for it. The most important thing for a bowler is at least someone went for it. You've seen some. I saw one in the Big Bash. Sam Billings and I think it was Sanger, the leg spinner, bowled, and it went straight up in the air. And neither of them went for it. They just left each other. So at least they went for it. And Sanju got the gloves to it. It nearly hit him on the head, actually. So he was lucky that he didn't get concussed as well.
Stop it. I know you're thinking who would have come on in place of him, right?
Would MS Dhoni have come on for him? I think.
It is the Pune ground. He has played there enough, so he knows. But leave that aside. I think India's catching has been pretty good this series, Zach.
Yeah, they've been good, I think. Generally in the field, that energy was there. The fielding effort has been superb. It's a high-pressure game as well. Today the series was on the line. They have to make sure that they get over the line, and a couple of errors do creep in a high-pressure game.
Yeah, so just got to know that Shivam Dube has been adjudged the player of the match for the 50 that he hit and for the 3 wickets that he picked up. I've preempted your joke, Michael, and I knew you were going to say that. Weren't you?
Oh, I think he's had a great game. 3 for 33, ball beautifully.
Stop it. Behave. But in terms of his batting, I mean, he was brought in to specifically perhaps negate Adil Rashid, who has had the wool over India in the last few games, and he did that so well. Good to see him carry that form on, because obviously he's been a World Cup winner with India, then was out injured for a while. He comes back in and Zach, he hits the ground running. I like this player.
It's just a sheer ability. He's so comfortable hitting those sixes. The left-handers, bringing in left-hander was a tactical call. You've seen how good Adil Rashid has been right throughout the series. And when it comes off, the credit has to be given to the think tank to be able to put these tactics in play, and then for Shivam Dube to respond in this fashion.
Yeah, I like watching him bat though, Michael. He's got this free swing that I think spinners really spinners get scared of that swing.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to Yuraj back in the day when Yuraj would just climb into all spinners. And, when you've got that long leverage and that kind of reach to be able to just kind of step hit the ball over mid-on or wide mid-wicket or straight down the ground, it's so difficult to bowl to, because you only have to miss your lengths by, you're talking this amount, and you'll get hit into the stand. So you look at Adil Rashid's figures in the last couple of games, was 1 for 14, 1 for 15. Well, it was 1 for 35 tonight. And again, these are big plays in the whole outcome of a T20 game, when you can hit England's number one bowler, and he's been the real mainstay throughout the series of putting India under pressure. And when you hit him for 1 for 35, that was the reason why they managed to put pressure on him and get to that total of 181.
So that's Shivam Dube, the player of the match today. All right, it comes down to the fifth game. Now, I know that the series has been won by India, but the kind of cricket that these two teams are playing, you know that it's going to be an exciting game, irrespective of what the series result is. At the end of the day, when you want to watch a good cricket game, you want to watch a good contest, you want to watch 11 great players against 12 great players. Stop it, behave yourself. When you want to watch great players against great players, then you want to watch... Michael's loving these jokes. I know it. He's loving them. That's two. I'm stopping now. No more. But you're gonna get a great game. You're going to be interested in that. You know that both the teams are going to come out there to win. But my question is to you, Michael, do you think that India will now use this to make a few more changes, to maybe change this bowling combination? Say, all right, we've tried 3 spinners, now maybe we want to try more quicks. Will England try to do the same as well? What do you think is going to be the mindset going into this last game?
Well, I think there'll be a few bowlers that'll be quite happy to miss out at the 1KD.
Yeah, all of them.
They'll probably be saying to the coach, "I'm a bit stiff. Could I have a game off?" But you would think Mohammad Shami will play. You'd think they'll give him another game. He's only bowled the 3 overs. They'll want to get some more overs in his legs before the 50-over series. Harshit Rana will probably play. I mean, Shivam Dube clearly is going to be struggling for Sunday with his concussion, so he might have to miss out. I'll be interested to see what both teams do, because you would like to think from an India perspective that Mohammad Shami will play. From an England perspective, I'd love to see Rehan Ahmed get a game. And the reason why I say that is that Rashid's been spectacular, but you can't rely on Rashid all the time. And in a year or so's time, when that T20 World Cup comes about, just what happens if Adil Rashid is injured or is not able to play? England will have a spinner that's coming into the situation with very few games behind him. So every time you get an opportunity to play someone like a Rehan Ahmed, I'd be taking that opportunity.
We've been saying that from the first game almost, Zach. But Brendan McCullum and Jos Buttler don't agree. But sound logic that Michael has.
Well, the logic has always been there right from the beginning of the series. Yeah. I don't think that logic is gonna transpire into action by this English side for sure. So I think they'll go unchanged. They'll stick to the same combination. They're trying things which is sticking to their strengths, sticking to how they are seeing the game and what is their winning formula. So I think they'll continue with that.
It's not. I mean, I agree they're thinking that, Michael, but it's not been a winning formula. You're down 3-1 in the series, so it's that same conversation we've been having through the series about when does the fine line between conviction and stubbornness.
Yeah, and I'll state it. I don't think they'll win a T20 World Cup in subcontinent conditions with all the pace. I think they need to find another spinner in there, and that's why I'd be giving Rehan Ahmed an opportunity. I mean, Jamie Everton's had a good night. He's bowled nicely, particularly that 20th over where he only went for 3, and he was striking the ball quite nicely as well. So he's a tremendous cricketer, but I just think England need to find a way of getting another world-class spinner into that equation, because when it comes down to the World Cup, I think you need 3 spin options. I mean, Zach's been saying you're looking at 10 to 12 overs of spin if the pitch is really spinning. At the minute, England have got 4 from Rashid, and every now and again you might get 4 from Liam Livingstone, but it's only every now and again. Realistically, Liam gives you 2, so that's 6 overs of spin on these kind of wickets. I think you need a lot more than that. So England, over the course of this next period, before the next T20 World Cup, they have to find a world-class spinner from somewhere. And Rehan Ahmed's the next cab off the rank. And you look at India with Chakravarti, Bishnoi, 2 leg spinners. Why not play 2 leg spinners that spin the ball just slightly either way? That's the way I'd be going.
Yeah, Liam Livingstone didn't even bowl an over today. So, yeah, Michael, you're right. 4 some days, 2 some days, and none on some other days. So, yeah, when we look at the Indian team, is there any player there you'd like to see? I mean, I think only Ramandeep is the only one who's not played. He was on as a substitute today, but when you look at that squad, there's only Ramandeep who hasn't got a game yet. Would you like to just kind of throw him in?
I think today's game is a classic example for this Indian think tank to think about creating a scenario or a situation, where tactically on days like this, when you know that the pitch is going to be a really good one for batting and not going to be that much assistance for spin bowling, can you change the combination? They've been talking about being flexible. That they've been saying that, okay, openers are going to be permanent, but later on you'll have that flexibility. So similarly with the bowling also, you'll have to create that flexibility.
Yeah.
And today's game was the classic example of that. If Harshit was not there, things would have been completely different. There would have been a lot of pressure on the spinners and then the seam bowlers to come in, because you didn't have that much of option to exploit the conditions. In Harshit, you could exploit the conditions. So Wankhede, I think they will look at creating that balance by getting in one more seamer. So if Harshdeep is resting, so be it. Shami will come in, Harshit Rana and Hardik is going to form that seam bowling attack.
Sorry, Michael?
GK, can you just get the list up again of the Indian team? Just if you could just get it on the screen again.
Sure, of course.
I just want to point something
Indian
out.
squad. There you go.
Can you send that list to the match referee, because you see down the middle it says all rounders.
Yeah.
And if you see Shivam Dube, all rounder, yet bowlers it says Harshit Rana. Can you just send that through to the match referee that he should have really picked from that list?
I'm gonna send it to them. Do you want me to mark it Exhibit 1A?
Yes, please. That'd be kind.
Excellent. We'll put your case on the docket, and this will go as Exhibit 1A, and the only exhibit that needs to be there. And I think here, Michael, everyone is in agreement with you. I think they discussed it quite a bit on air as well. This been discussed on social media, where everything important is discussed these days. And of course, it's been discussed here on Cricbuzz Live. I think everyone is in agreement with the fact, and there's proof of that, Exhibit 1A, that you have had a bowler replace an all-rounder. So I'm sure you're going to hear a lot about this law in the next few days, but you've heard what our say on it is. Our Joy Factor question and answer for today. Here's the question, in case you missed it earlier. It's a tough one, as usual. How did Paul, John, George and Ringo, how did Paul, Brian, Gavin, John, Andy and Grant make history in 1997? Brothers? Something to do with brothers.
Must be.
Right? Michael, what do you think? Brothers in Zimbabwe.
I'm guessing the Andy and the Grant are the Flowers.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
Let's see the answer. Where is it? Only time 3 pairs of brothers played in the same ODI team. There you go. Strang, Rennie and the Flower brothers. So, Zimbabwe versus New Zealand in 1997. So, yeah, three pairs of brothers. Let's see who got it right. Was it brothers who got it right? Which is one person? It's Ronak Jain. Ronak, who is, according to his Twitter handle, an Arsenal fan. Really sorry about that, Ronak, but tough things happen to people sometimes. But hey, the good thing has happened to you today, right? It's probably be the only good thing that'll happen to you this weekend in terms of sport. So congratulations to Ronak. Ooh, Michael, would you like an Arsenal dig? I'll leave it open to you for 20 seconds.
No, I mean, they play a big team, don't they? On Sunday, who are they playing on Sunday?
Who are they playing on Sunday?
I think they play Man City.
And they're playing Man City, yes.
Yeah, so Man City are due to win, so they might struggle at the weekend.
Wait, are you saying Man City will beat Arsenal 3-1?
I think it'll be 2-1.
2-1. Excellent. Zach, you want to throw your hat in the ring?
There's a possibility of 4-1.
4-1. There you go. 2-1, 3-1, 4-1. We'll be here on Sunday evening. We'll be here on Sunday evening. So
I only understand cricket, Michael, so excuse me for that.
Okay, so well, that's it. We've covered cricket, we've covered football, we've covered laws, we've done jokes, we've done analysis. How much more do you want? Really? I mean, it is Friday night. Let us go out and get a green tea. So what we drink on Friday nights, yeah?
Yeah.
Green tea, ginger tea, green tea, black tea, like, stuff like that. We're going to go get ourselves a little hydrating beverage, perhaps. And we will see you on Sunday. Sunday evening, that's the last game, the last T20 game of this series. So we'll see you then, 6:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time with Cricbuzz Live. So do join us then. Big thank you to Michael Vaughan joining us from the UK. It is definitely beverage o'clock for him in a bit, so we're going to let him go. And from Zaheer Khan and me, Gaurav Kapur, it is goodbye on behalf of us and our crew on Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you on Sunday. Good night.